work well on armor. This place has seen better days. I don't think I can get past them. Guess I should leave it for now. I'll mark this spot in my focus. Come back later. Made it. And there's another one of those devices. A lens. Guess I'll figure out what to do with it later. There's another watchtower on that ridge across the valley. Looks like a long climb to get up there. stuff for the stash. It's a dead machine. Must be chain scraped. Jaruf said I could get my bow upgraded in there. Might be able to tinker with my other gear, too. It's green like blaze, but it's more than shiny. Wonder if merchants would be interested. Bristlebacks must have got these Oseram. I hope Erend and the other Vanguard are okay. Ground soaked with acid. Did the Bristlebacks do this? I can't override that machine. There's a cauldron out here. Turn into something tasty.
Outlander approaching. That's a savior? Wanna come in, savior?
Welcome to Chainscrape, savior.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
The forge.
Petra?
What are you doing here? About time there was something worth looking at in this dump.
It's nice to see you too.
And not a moment too soon. Come on. Damn brewery's the only thing I can count on in this place.
Yeah, I heard. Machines, work stoppage.
Oh, those are just the latest malfunctions. Chainscrape's always been a few tools short of a kit. And right there is the biggest tool of all.
Our land, not our problem. The Bristlebacks are everybody's problem.
Roland?
You've heard of him.
Yeah.
But he's a story best told over a cold beer.
Petra. I'm just passing through. I'm headed west.
Oh.
There's an embassy at Barren Light I need to make happen, and then I keep moving.
Ah, of course. Bigger gears to grind. Well, Flame Hair, good to see you. You've got to move on.
Petra.
But if you want a cold beer and a few laughs with an old friend, come find me at the brewery. Your choice.
Well, this Olven guy sounds like trouble. Maybe Petra could use some support. But first things first, I need to find that workbench and upgrade my bow.
Don't you think I'd drink for me and never forget one drink, I think.
Hello! Be welcome, Outlander.
Maybe finally someone who will outdrink me. Ignoring me again?
You always look so grumpy.
I can grab this from my stash later.
Even from a distance, you're ugly. One drink for me, and one drink for others.
I'm just stealing everything, bro. Stealing everything.
Olven can't just ignore us like this, can he? We almost died because of him.
Have you seen us? What are we supposed to do? Have Arnold throw his crutch at him?
I try not to think about it. So, thanks for bringing me
I mean, Alvin, you can't tell his iron from his art.
I see you all made it back.
Hammer and tongs. That they did, Huntress. They tell me you blasted through the problem. Lokuf here came back trembling like a twig. Hey!
What's important is everyone made it out. No thanks to Olven.
Have you talked to him yet?
We're on the waiting list.
Doesn't have the guts to face all of us at once.
We need to stick together, in case he decides to send his goons over.
You're all banged up as it is. I can deal with Olven. You don't need to stick around.
We know, you old hammer.
Just stay safe.
You! I know you see me.
isn't gonna kill you.
Unless Olvin and his cronies here. Now leave me.
Don't you think I forgot? I never forget. I think. You're a Nora, and I'm inebriated.
Shop looks closed.
Yep.
Can I still use the workbench?
I ain't gonna stop you.
This should be useful. Now I just need to find End
Shop's
and help him
closed,
clear the
Greg.
bristlebacks.
You're welcome to. Use the workbench. Best I can do.
Can't you see I'm trying to drink here?
Tell me you paid what we owed in the bar.
You had to bring it up, huh?
Please. I'll drink it.
They're on the same side here,
Eavesdropping mud.
We all know it was the Carja who let the bristlebacks into the valley. Sent them straight through the gates of Barren Light.
That is preposterous. Why would we let dangerous machines into our own land? Damn concessions.
What are you saying?
High time you made up your mind. So let's hear it.
Eyes up here, brother.
Sipping your ales, I see.
That reminds me.
Aloy, change your mind about that brew?
Challenge. Play some strike.
Come for that beer after all, eh? Here, sit down. Get a pint in her hand. Wasn't expecting you to swing by.
Since when do I do what's expected?
There's that spark. Fire and spit.
Fire and spit.
That's a blast from the bellows. Won't fix the forge, but at least I can forget about my troubles for a while.
Like what?
Take your pick. We got bodies to bury from the bristlebacks, the work stoppage, Olvin grating the gears about his concession decree. Hey! Weapons off the table! Ah, don't listen to me. Nothing a cold brew and knocking some heads together can't fix eventually.
So the bristlebacks and the Daunt. Where did they come from?
That's the thing. No one rightly knows. They just showed up one day, rampaging around the valley like they exploded out of a forge. Lost some good people. But I heard talk of some vanguards trying to take them down.
Did they come through here?
Stopped by briefly for supplies. Olvind was none too pleased. Won't be able to crank it to his advantage once the bristlebacks are gone.
But how could bristlebacks and the Daunt help Olvind?
2 words. Concession decree. Since no one knows where the bristlebacks came from, Olvind has taken to blaming the Karja for him. He's hoping to dig up enough old resentments to get a strike going until the concession's signed. This is just his latest attempt. He's been trying to rile up the workers since the day he rolled into town.
And people actually believe him?
Lots of folks suffered at the hands of the Mad King during the Red Raids. Give him half a reason, they'll blame the Karja for anything.
Damn Karja slavers.
I thought you'd be back in Freeheap.
Well, after the big battle at Meridian, I went back. But realized it was running smooth. Didn't need me. Heard about the rebuilding out at Barren Light. Figured they could use another hammer. Been scraping by ever since.
You could always leave.
And go back east? Nah. I ain't one to leave a lit forge. Besides, someone's gotta be a squeaky wheel for the workers around here.
So about Olvind.
Around here, everything's about Olvind.
How'd he end up in charge?
He got here early, like a squirrel smelling a fat nut. He knew rebuilding Barren Light would need stone and timber. So he jangled purses all over Mainspring, getting investors to front claims on anything in the Daunt that might be worth a damn. Thing is, all the bankers back home know that this is Karja land, and the Sun King can revoke those claims at any time. That's why he's desperate for the magistrate to sign off on a concession decree.
This concession decree, what is it exactly? And how would it help Olvind?
It's pig diddle, that's what.
A writ that would put all Osram claims in the Daunt under Osram law, even though they're on Karja land. It would mean that any existing ore, stone, and timber claims couldn't be revoked by the Karja. No more risk, no more hesitation for investors back in the claim to pour in the shards and expand their business. And since Olvind has a stake in all those claims, it would make him richer than a scrapper in a junk heap. Not to mention Chainscrape would become an Osram municipality, so he could buy enough votes to call himself an elderman. He's a sly old badger, I'll give him that. Figures if he keeps up the pressure, eventually the magistrate will sign.
Well, I have to be going. Thanks for the drink, Petra. I'm glad I stopped by.
Anytime, Flamehair. Come for another... And you, Flamehair. Don't be a stranger.
Come to revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the boat.
I was just...
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces? Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set. A Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too. All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I own the board, so since this is your first time, usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but pick up that machine piece to your... And remember, each machine, take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round, so go ahead and pick a Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so we're forging onwards. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece. When performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. A machine's combat power is a combination of the terrain your machine is standing on and its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power, since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like your machine, it's not so right now, the difference in combat power between the 2 machines, this means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my... Did you get all that? Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attacking... Not pulling any punch? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine... You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, so use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean. That's about it for your turn, then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Here, let me show you. Now let that... Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so your machine attacked mine. Go ahead and move downward. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you and by the look of your machine's health, you'd be... But sometimes, overcharge your machine to attack mine a sec... Ain't that a thrill? Now, because we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're going to receive your victory points before I do, which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your... Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7, but you did. That means you're the winner. That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or 2.
I'll try and...
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor. Though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. You know, I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
I knew I'd make a strike. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your... This one's got all the different terrains. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between... Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting you compare its combat power to your... The higher your machine's combat power, so finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machine. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat and the value of the terrain. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1. Add those together, and my machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0. It's also not attacking, which means so my combat power is 0. This means your machine... Go ahead and test. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve it can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2. My machine can't use their attack powers since they're defending their position, but they have they're standing on forest terrain, which this means my combat now. The front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack which means my machine gets an extra point. If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's comp, you can still choose to attack and break their machines. Go ahead, try it out. See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backward. Sure, both our machines will receive, but knocking my machine off that terrain. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by that machine would have received damage as well. That's why breaking a machine's defenses is a great way to useful, right? They're still... All right, as we've seen, however, there are 2 other terrains that work a little. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those, but it'll take away 2 combat points if you do. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move, or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies. Well, I think I promise it'll all come. Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we use? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your arm. Knowing what each machine brings to the game, building an army that matches your strategy, is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep it. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how, but a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up that machine. All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine... In other words, if you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee-type machine attacks the first enemy within range. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner-type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can... Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram-type machine. Attack an enemy with it, and it'll push like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is, when it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range. Every machine in its path, including your. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll know there's quite a few of those, and we haven't, but I'm pretty sure you've got more important things. It's got all the tips. I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play a real game. Good luck. That's it for me. Okay, let's see. Your move, Red. Hey! Oh, that was the perfect spot. Thank the forge you hit armor. I got a tough fight ahead of me. Knocked right off the board. Oh, I won! Probably shouldn't sound so surprised, huh? Let's do this! Time to get serious. Board's all yours. Just one piece left. That sure dampens the forge. Your turn. You got me. Fair and square. Let's play. Come up. You're up, Red. My turn. Board's all yours. Feeling daring, are we? Well, that's done now. That was brutal. Your move, Red. Ah, off the board it goes. Time to make my move. One less piece on the board. knocked right off the board. Time to get serious. Now that was a game, even if I lost. This is gonna be fun. Time to make my move. That's it for me. Oh, bold choice. That was brutal. Well, that's done now. One less piece on the board. Off the board it goes. I'm up. Your turn. Off the board it goes. My turn. You're up, Red. A single machine left? That ain't good. Board's all yours. You got me down to one piece. I am impressed. Oh, I thought I had that one. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Your turn. One less piece on the board. You're up, Red. That was brutal. I'm up. Well, that's done now. Knocked right off the board. One less piece on the board. Okay, let's see. That was brutal. I won! Oh, but I'll play you again if you want. Let's play. That's it for me. My turn. You have to admit, that was impressive. Well, that's done now. Off the board it goes. That was a surprise. Armor is your best friend in this game, I'm telling you. Time to get serious. Your move, Red. Knocked right off the board. Hey, I like that piece where it was. Your turn. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Well, that's done now. Time to make my move. Guess luck's not on your side today, Red. Good luck. Time to make my move. You're up, Red. My turn. That's it for me. Off the board it goes. I'm up. One less piece on the board. Board's all yours. I always get nervous when I overcharge my pieces. Time to get serious. Your move, Red. Knocked right off the board. That's the game. You up for a rematch? Let's do this.
I think she got better pieces than me. But I'm really liking this game.
Okay, let's see. Your move, Red. Oh, seriously? That was brutal. That's it for me. One less piece on the board. Okay, let's see. You're up, Red. That was brutal. I'm up. Knocked right off the board. Well, that's done now. My turn. I won! Oh, but I'll play you again.
That bristleback is bullshit. -1. What the hell, man?
This is gonna be fun. Time to get serious. Your turn. Time to make my move. Off the board it goes. Off the board it goes. Time to get serious. Board's all yours. One less piece on the board. Knocked right off the board. That's the game. You up for a rematch? Here we go. You're up, Red. Time to make my move. Your move, Red. That was brutal. Okay, let's see. Your turn. I'm up. Well, that's done now. Board's all yours. One less piece on the board. Ah, off the board it goes. That's it for me. Knocked right off the board. My turn. Well, that's done now. Guess luck's not on your side today, Red.
Oh my god, what the hell?
Good luck. Your turn. Okay, let's see. Your move, Red. That was brutal. Well, that's done now. Board's all yours. One less piece on the board.
It's impossible to win against this stupid ass bitch with a bullshit deck she has.
Oh, we can stop if you want. Let's do this. That's it for me. My turn. You're up, Red. I'm up. Knocked right off the board. That was brutal. Hey, I like that piece where it was. Time to get serious. Off the board it goes. Your move, Red. One less piece on the board. Your turn. Ah, not that easy to get through my machine's armor, is it? Time to make my move. You're up, Red. Knocked right off the board. Oh, I won! Probably shouldn't sound so surprised.
I nearly won that.
Here we go. I'm up. That's it for me. Well, that's done now.